Tracking employee hours seems simple at first glance. Someone works a shift, the time gets recorded, and payroll takes it from there. But anyone who has ever managed hourly workers knows that the way we record time can dramatically affect accuracy, fairness, and even labor costs. That's where the 100th hour and quarter-hour systems come in. In this video, we'll discuss how payroll accountants use the quarter-hour and the 100th hour system to track the hours that employees work, and how employees maximize their pay if their employer uses the quarter-hour system. Employers who use the quarter-hour system round the hours the employee works to the nearest 15 minutes. For instance, if the employee worked 8 hours and 6 minutes, she's paid for only 8 hours because 6 minutes is closer to 5 p.m. on this clock here than 5:15 p.m. On the other hand, if the employee stayed 2 minutes longer and worked 8 hours and 8 minutes until 5 o'clock and 8 minutes, she would be paid for 8 hours and 15 minutes. 1 minute can be the difference between getting paid for 15 minutes or not. The payroll accountant then converts the fractional hours to decimals by dividing the minutes by 60. 15 minutes divided by 60 equals 0.25. There are other rounding methods that employers use as well. For instance, some employers round to the nearest 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The takeaway here is that workers are not paid for the exact hours and minutes worked. Sometimes the rounding is in the employee's favor, and sometimes it benefits the employer. Over time, it is supposed to even out. The 100th hour system is the most precise method of tracking time in which the hourly worker's time is tracked to the exact minutes work. Just like the quarter-hour system, you will have to convert it to the decimal value by dividing the minutes by 60. So for example, if an employee works for 7 hours and 35 minutes, their time will be tracked as 7.58 hours, where the minutes are converted to the decimal value by dividing 35 minutes by 60 for a result of 7.58 decimal hours. If an employee works for 7 hours and 44 minutes, their time will be tracked as 7.73 hours, where the minutes are converted to the decimal value by dividing 44 minutes by 60 for a result of 7.73 decimal hours. This method is more accurate than the quarter-hour system, but it can be more difficult to implement and may require additional resources to track and record the time accurately. To save time, you could also use a payroll conversion table. So this is a payroll conversion chart. The first column shows the actual minutes from 1 to 30 and then 31 to 60. The second column shows the conversion to decimals for the 100th hour value, meaning the exact minutes worked as decimals. And the third column shows the quarter-hour system where you round to the nearest 15 minutes. You can see that for the minutes 1 to 7, the value in the third column is 0, and under the quarter-hour system, hours are rounded down until the tipping point is reached. For instance, 8 minutes would be the tipping point of going from 0 to 15 minutes, or 0.25 in decimals. 23 minutes would be the tipping point of going from 15 minutes, or 0.25 in decimals, to 30 minutes and 0.5 in decimals. So let's just say that the employee worked 8 hours and 16 minutes. The employee would be paid for 8 hours and 15 minutes, and the decimal value is 0.25. What if the employer works 8 hours and 20 minutes? The employer would still only be paid for 8 hours and 15 minutes, or decimal hours of 8.25. Working only 3 minutes more, though, for 8 hours and 23 minutes would result in being paid 8 hours and 30 minutes, or decimal hours of 8.5 under the quarter-hour system. Let's look at a few more examples. In both exercises, the worker earns $18.15 per hour and worked 39 hours and 41 minutes. In the first exercise, though, we'll use the 100th hour pay method. The first step is to convert the minutes to decimals by dividing the 41 minutes by 60, which results in 0.6833. Next, we calculate the total decimal hours by adding the hours to the decimal minutes for a total of 39.6833. We then calculate the wages by multiplying 39.6833 by the hourly rate of $18.15 per hour, which results in gross wages of $720.25. And the second exercise, we'll calculate the wage based on the quarter-hour pay method. So we first need to figure out the minutes to use. 41 minutes is closer to 45 minutes than 30 minutes. Therefore, we will be using 45 minutes, which we then convert to minutes, the minutes to decimals by dividing the 45 minutes by 60, which results in 0.75. Then we calculate the total decimal hours by adding the hours to the decimal minutes for a total of 39.75. And then we calculate the wages by multiplying 39.75 hours by the hourly rate of $18.15 per hour, which results in gross wages of $721.46. So there is a difference in this case of $1.21 for this paycheck between the 100th hour and the quarter-hour system. Whether an organization chooses 100th hour tracking, quarter-hour rounding, or another compliant method, the real goal is the same, a system that is consistent, transparent, and fair.